our upcoming module is module 4, process establishment. How to establish a injection mold from starting to a production. This is what we'll be going to discuss. Okay. So, how to fine tune a process or establish a process? Whenever we are making a new tool, what is the process? The molding process establishment. That's all. Okay. So, whenever we are injecting raw material to a mold, there are two stages in that. One is the injection phase. Next is a holding phase. Okay. Injection phase, the requirement is to push the material at a higher speed, higher pressure into the cavity to fill that part. And holding phase, whenever after filling, okay, slowly the material starts cooling down and the material gets shrink. Okay, it start due to van der Waals effect, started come size get reduced or shrinkage can happen. So to compensate that and to maintain the dimension, to pack the part, we are giving a holding stage. These are the two stages. In between the injection stage and the holding stage, it is known as a switchover position. The position in which the material injection, it is shifting from injection to holding, injection time to holding. That position is known as a switchover point or switchover phase. In that, there will be a micro stopping happening in the molding. So we have to understand. So getting a better repeatability of the part, we have to inject the part 95 to 98% by weight in injection phase. Okay, we can see in molding shop people does sometime in holding also. We understand what is a real switchover position. So establishing the correct switchover position based on the weight of the part is very, very critical for a repeatable product process. Okay, short to short repeatability. Why? Because we are telling we cannot fill 100% because it can flash out. That's why we are telling 95 to 98%. We have to fill it in the injection phase. If we are filling so slowly, what happens? Melt temperature can drop, or we are filling only 80% injection and we are switching to hold down. So there is a micro stoppage happening, known as that switchover phase. So what happens? In the stopping, the raw material cools down. Okay, plastic is a non-Newtonian raw material. When the flow stops, pressure reduces. It flow when stops, its temperature will drop, and vice versa. So we should not do a switchover in a premature switchover. So we have to fill it the part almost 95-98% by weight and not by the shape. By weight means we can measure the weight of the part in a weight balance and understand whether it is still. Then switch over to holding and give the packing desired to compensate the shrinkage and swing mark, whatever it may be. Okay, this is the first phase. Then second comes the holding. We already told holding. There is a holding speed is there, pressure is there, time is there, and we had to derive based what is the level of aesthetics required in the holding. So holding time can be like 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and we have to see in that holding time whether our gate is freezed or not. If suppose my gate is small and get freezed, whatever amount of holding I'm giving, it will not go to the part. So part will have a shrinkage or swing mark, but we are giving huge pressure. Nothing is going inside the cavity. So holding also has to be established properly. For holding establishment, that gate freezing time also should be kept in mind. And that is the third point, gate sealing time. What time the gate seals? How it is been done? Okay, suppose I fill the part 95 to 90% injection. Now only some swing mark are there. Now I'm giving a holding time. I'm given a holding time of 1 second or 50 MPa, 50-60 MPa the pressure. Okay, then a slight amount of swing mark reduced. Again, I change it to 2 seconds. Again, it has swing mark reduced. My part weight of the part I measure and it is increased. Okay, again I change to 3 seconds, I will measure, or again it has increased and part looks better. But after some time, I increase to 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, part weight never changes. This means my gate has already got sealed. So we have to understand, and in that sealing time, if my part is not filled properly, then means I have to increase the gate, not just increase, it's changing the machine and all. This is how it is been done. The next point is establishing cushion. Cushion means what? After injection and holding, some amount of raw material will be left in front of the screw. Okay. Why cushion is so much important? Because through this material only the pressure given will be transferred to the through the screw bush, runner gate, and to the part. There is no cushion raw metal left in front of the screw. Then what happens? The steel screw will come and hit the head of the machine, and there will not, it will just rest on the machine head. One, damages the machine component also. Second, there will no pressure transfer to the molten inside the cavity. Okay, through metal only that pressure is getting transferred. So amount of some 5 to 10% of that part weight, or 6 mm normally we keep at a cushioning. If cushion is so much less, again problem, pressure will not properly transfer. And if its cushion is too big, that means again there is a problem, because the metal we are giving a pressure in the screw, the metal just compress, it will not go front. So much big cushioning we have kept, it just get compressed, then also it will not be effective. So optimum adequate amount of cushioning is required. If the machine is worn out, its screw plunger is worn out, then also even we are keeping proper cushioning, screw will automatically come and hit the front side of the nozzle, because front side of the head, because the metal gets backflow through the screw over the screw. So machine condition also very, very important for cushion. Okay, to maintain. Then comes the melt temperature. Melt temperature, no, because generally in molding shop people can nylon, no, 260 degree, PP 220 degree. So what I mean to say with melt temperature, we have to select the melt temperature based on the actual raw metal data sheet. Okay, not generic, because every metal base polymer may be same PC in multiple grade, but whatever additives, whatever fillers will change. That also changes the melt temperature. So proper selection of melt temperature is very, very important. And melt temperature, we may be keeping in the machine some temperature, but actual on the raw material, how much it is coming, that is more important. Otherwise, machine, there may be some damage, the heater or thermocouple may be giving wrong sensing. So that also can give a wrong interpretation. So better to purge it and measure. There is a 80-20 principle. Okay, measure the temperature by using a temperature probe, cube temperature probe. Okay, that can be done.
One more thing. So in the barrel itself, there will be an place where we can, it will show the temperature, what it has been there in the band heater. And there is one more area in some of the machines will be there, right? What is the actual temperature which is achieved? So that would be there.
See, normally temperature measurement in a machine happens by thermocouple. Okay.
Yeah.
And it will be that will be thermocouple will be it will regulate the heater. Okay. Thermocouple is a position in a place that it is very close to the melt, but it cannot touch the melt. Okay. Because metal will come out from that hole. So there will be some gap. Okay. So based on that changes. So perfect measurement, if it is a critical part, better to measure on this. And if some thermocouple or something get damaged, or no, it is not properly bolted or something, it can sense a wrong sensing can happen. For that reason, we are telling this. At least periodically in a machine, we can check. Sometimes 10 degree difference also comes. If a heater got damaged, we replace another heater. Wattage, there may be a difference in wattage. It can give a wrong temperature. So periodically check that. Then we'll come. This machine is very good. Okay, higher end machine has very, very close temperature set to what is shown. Okay. Then temperature profiling. No, different material has semi-crystalline material has a narrow processing temperature profile, like nylon line 250, 260, 270, but polycarbonate line 250 to 300 degree. So amorphous have a better range of temperature setting. So follow that range. It's not everywhere keep 250, 250, 250, 250. No. 50 to
so this information will be given in the data sheet of the material. Yes, so what should be the feeder? What should be that compressor area? What is the metering area? Temperature needs to be kept.
Yes.
That information will be shared.
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
So that we are discussed in our other session, metering zone, compression zone. And how it has to be done.
Okay.
Then heater band monitoring is very, very important. As I told you, we cannot believe machine, and also some damages can happen. Some heater may be wrong, so we have to monitor it. Okay.
So external thermocouple, we have to use it and we have to check it physically. That's what you're telling.
Yeah, we can see check the resistance of the heater. Heater is there is a resistance. By checking, we'll know whether it is proper or not. Or some temperature. crude method also we can use. Understand? Measuring with some thermocouple, we can see, compare it. Okay. Then nozzle sizing is very, very important. No, machine nozzle. We cannot tell that machine has supplied this nozzle, I am using that. Based on the machine mold or hot runner, cold runner, nozzle sizing varies. Nozzle should be made in a way that it has a lesser pressure drop. Okay. So nozzle, the first place the pressure drop happens. Nozzle gives the quality of the part. So nozzle is a small element still. It's a small element. So it's a chance get overheated and overcooled quickly. So if we are not properly sizing or monitoring nozzle, it will give a very, very poor quality of product. Very, very difficult to understand also. We believe that nozzle, but small element means it heats, difficult to control. So nozzle sizing and monitoring is very, very important. And next is a metal preparation. Already discussed preheating based on the raw metal specification. Overheating also result in volatile additives escaping out of the raw metal. Then also molding problem, ejection problem, sticking and flow problem. Everything can come. Multiple problems can come. So based on that, preheating, higher grade of metal, engineering specialty plastic has to be done. Higher hygroscopic metal has to be done a dehumidifier. Okay. It is little costly, but it gives a proper, and metal has to be dried up to desired drying desired percentage of moisture, like 0.02 is common for most of the raw material. So before molding, the moisture content should be 0.02, and every metal absorbs some amount of moisture based on its capability. Okay, saturation limit. Some absorb up to 2% nylon and all, 2.5%, some more than that. PC and all 0.5%, Norel and PPO absorb at 0.1%. So based on that, preheating metal preparation has to be done.
One question: yeah. If nylon gets absorbed material, water, moisture absorption, so can we remove that moisture by what is preheating or putting it in an oven? Is that possible?
Yes. As I told you, every metal absorbs. Some metal absorb more. So nylon absorb little more to up to saturation limit to 2.5%. More than that, I think. So we have to make it 0.2 before molding. That is a condition. So we have to preheat it in the majorly nylon require a dehumidifier. If we are using oven and all, it is not a proper, because the same air is getting circulated, or atmosphere air is getting circulated in a hopper dryer. So whatever atmosphere having more moisture, below that it will not difficult to come. So better to use a dehumidifier. It completely removes that moisture.
How do you measure it?
There is a apparatus. You are not seeing the video. Okay. There is an apparatus for measuring moisture content.
Okay.
Moisture analyzer. With that we can measure that.
Okay, fine. Got it.
Okay. It compares the weight before and after preheating. So whatever weight reduction happens, it heats the material. Okay, small amount of metal has to be kept in that machine and goes. It heats with the xenon arc quickly, and due to that heat, moisture will escape. So before that, there will be a weight, including moisture, and after the heating, it compares and gives the result. What is the amount of moisture? That is the automatically done by that machine. Just we have to keep them on it. Okay. So so that that has to be taken care. Okay. So we have to, one thing, whenever we are injecting metal to the cavity, we are setting some amount of injection pressure in the machine. Okay. But actually set is some value, but actually whatever mold takes based on the part intensity, runner, feed system, that has to be monitored. Based on that, we have to correct the tool, because what is given and what is taken different, because a lot of huge pressure drop happens in the screw, runner, gate and the part. It is substantial drop is there, we have to attend that. Okay, first nozzle will drop, then in the screw, runner, gate, then in the part drop happens. So for a cold runner mold, generally in a feed system, drop, thumb rule is like 30 to 40 MPa we can sacrifice. If it is going about that 70 MPa, 60 MPa, it means huge pressure drop, and our part will not get the proper pressure. So we have to attend the feed system, or the feed system. If part itself, if feed system is absolutely fine, 30 MPa is only lost, and the part is taking 150 MPa, that means that part cannot be filled. Then the part thickness has to be increased, or the raw material has to be changed to a higher, lower viscosity. It fills smoothly. That's
how do we know that the pressure drop is happening?
So whenever we are putting a pressure inside the machine, I kept 100 MPa. Whatever is taken, the machines are closed loop. Based on that flow and whatever is taken, there will be a transducer. It sends that and it will gives back in the machine. I given 100, it is taking 80 MPa. Okay. I given 100, it is taking 120 MPa. It's extra. It's not flowing at all. It means there is a restriction. So from that machine, we can read that, and based on that, we can do the correction.
Okay.
Yeah. And understand the pressure drop in the feed system. We can understand, okay, I told you switchover position is a position from where metal is shifting from injection to holding. Okay. So injection, I filled the part 95% suppose. And holding, I filled it 100%, no sigma. Now I stopped the holding. Okay. Means holding will not take place. The material screw will go to the injection, okay, up to the switchover position, and it started refilling, go back. Okay. Holding will not take place. So we get a part which is 95% filled. Now that switchover position, suppose the switchover position I have kept 10 mm in the machine, I am keeping it to 15 mm. It means the part will fill up to 90% or 85%. Okay, you are getting it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I will shift the switchover to instead of 15, I will shift to 20 mm. Then no, I have not given any holding. It means the screw will go and stop in that 20 mm and come back by refilling. So in 20 mm, okay, I refill the machine 100 mm. I injected 20 mm now, and my part till gate only the part has filled now. I start switching over the switchover position from 10, 15 like that. Then I will create a short molded part. Then I'll go up to filling the gate only, screw, runner, and gate. At that point, if I kept in a machine the pressure of 100 MPa, how much pressure it is taken, that machine will show in that. It may be 30 MPa. That means up to fill the runner, the gate, it is taking 30 MPa. Again, I will increase that 20 to 25. Then only up to the runner, gate will not fill. Then there will be MPa will be 20 MPa pressure taken. And I will next step I will fill 30 mm only to the screw. Then it's true. So based on that, I will come to know whether the pressure drop is happening, what amount of pressure drop is happening when it is crossing the gate, when it's crossing the runner and screw. If more pressure drop is happening the gate, we have to attend the gate. If it is happening the screw, we have to attend the screw. If we have in the runner, we have to. Okay. If gate is showing only 10 MPa and screw is showing 20 MPa, we have to attend the screw. Attend the gate will not help us. If gate, normally toolmaker will not correct gate because it is a tough thing. They don't know actually. The thing is they don't know really what is the pressure drop. Nobody will see. If my gate is taking a total pressure drop up to the gate is 40 MPa, my gate is taking and I have filled up to the runner, it is only 10 MPa is going, means 30 MPa is consumed by the gate only. So to have a better feeling, we have to, if you increase the screw bush or runner, normally people increase screw bush or runner, it is easy to do, but gate they'll not have, but major pressure is taken by the gate. So if we attend the gate only, it is going to solve. Increasing the runner 2 times, only wasting the raw material. So we have to attend that. Okay, you're able to understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the recommended mold qualification process. Okay, this is a chart. How to qualify a mold? Okay, this first.
You're telling about mold qualification. It is a used mold or it is a new mold? What
new
is
mold,
your
new mold?
So it will be different step for a used mold.
New mold only correction, major correction. Used mold means already done. No, if there is an error, you have to. If mold is not giving result, then you have to again qualify it. Qualification the first time only. No, used mold. Why we have to qualify it again?
Now, for as I asked you earlier itself, right? So if we are going for mold validation for
that is a validation is a different case. You transferring the mold to a molder and setting the same process and running, it is a different thing. First, we have to make the mold and qualify it. Next, transfer, if mold is properly qualified based on the scientific method, then transferring and running it another place is easy. If you are not qualifying it initially, then it never gets the result. So first qualification, initial qualification is so much important. Second thing is that replicating of this process. If this is done right, that automatically comes right.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So first step, as shown is a start. Then there is a viscosity study happening. Viscosity study means what is the best injection time of the raw material. Okay, we cannot know plastic raw material tends since it is non-Newtonian, it wish to be injected in a higher speed. If the speed or injection time increases, then melt temperature drop happens. 300-degree temperature melt is getting injected to the mold. It is flowing very slow. It will reduce maybe 300
Freeze.
to 200. Yeah, it freeze off. That is not a ideal condition. So that's why we are telling it has to be quickly injected without destroying the raw material property. When we are quickly injecting, shear plays important. Shear means we are rubbing two hands, heat generate. Similar way inside the molecules get rubbed each other when we are injecting so fast, shear heat is produced. So higher temperature, metal flows properly, viscosity will be maintained. The viscosity variation will be lesser. So more temperature drop, okay, then viscosity variation will be huge. So viscosity variation means quality difference. We will not be short to short consistency will not be there. Cold metal doesn't have any consistency. So we have to inject in a higher whatever recommend temperature. For that viscosity study is important. Okay.
Okay.
Second is a cavity balance study. There are multiple cases, suppose 8 cavity, 32 cavity, whatever. So cavity to cavity balance should be there. Okay, if there is a critical dimension, not fixed and function, very, very critical. Aesthetically, it may be able to possible to meet all the things. Okay. But dimension 0 to 0, some part have 0, 1 tolerance over plus or minus. So cavity to cavity, uniform filling, uniform packing should be there. So that study has to be done. So even we machine, all the cavity similar way, some difference can come. We have to understand that based on that weight of the cavity has to be studied, then dimension also studied. Based on that, we have to modify the feed system or thickness, whatever. Okay. Steel.
So if multiple cavity is there, so if the part weight is different, it means that gate size is different or gate dimension.
See, if you are machining the cavity same, okay, machining wise everything cavity is same. Yeah. Okay, but this is due to the filling problem. Then gate or feed system has to be modified.
Okay.
Okay. Then comes the pressure drop. We already discussed on the pressure drop. Okay. How much pressure drop is happening in the feed system? Nobody cares for that. I tell you, if there is no concept like first shot, the feed system will be okay. If I made 100 mold, I tell you 99% of mold I have touched the feed system after T0 trial. This is not a T0 trial. In T0 trial, every time feed system, there will be some modification if we are looking at the pressure drop and gate freezing. If you are not looking at or just looking at the part shape or aesthetic, then nothing will be there. Then in that case, you are manipulating. This depend on the molder. The molding pressure person is setting the process in a way that very critically it cannot be repeatable. When the mold transfer on place to another, it cannot be repeatable. He's setting with his lot of shortcuts or something he is using in setting. Very, very difficult setting. It takes time. But when we qualify properly a mold can start within 5 shots. It will not take 50 shots, 100 shots to come okay part. This is how this qualification has to be. That's why pressure drop gate filling study has to be done. Process window means there should be a window. If we are keeping the process so critical, if I change my melt temperature 5 degree, part will short fill. That is a poor processing window. If I have better process window means any changes due to the environmental, because if we change in the machine, that due to environmental condition also there is a process change. And raw material also. Raw material is a polymer, is a big process. There will be some minor change in the MFI also and flowability of the raw material. MFI always tell 8 to 10, 8 to 12 or 15 to 20. It's a range. So with that range, the part quality is differentiating, means we are setting a very, very critical process. So we should have a wide processing window. Our process setting should be like that. If some changes in the environment, summer season, winter season, morning, night, noon, whatever changes in the atmosphere also, raw material also, small changes, it should accommodate that. For that reason, to get that, we have to correct first mold temperature as we go, proper melt temperature, then feed system, gate spacing, pressure drop study, all these things we are taking care. Then we will get a wide processing window. Any small changes happen, it will not affect the quality of the part. This is known as a process window. Okay.
Okay.
And gate sealing study we already discussed. Okay, up to what time the gate is kept open. Gate, by the name itself, is the first portion where it shuts off.
seal.
Yes. So if it is getting sealed in, suppose we are doing a gate seal study, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, up to 6 seconds, weight is getting increased. From 6 seconds, we are increasing 7 seconds, weight of the part is not increasing. Okay, 8 seconds is not increasing, 9 seconds is not. It means 6 seconds the gate is already freeze. At 6 seconds, if the sink mark and sink gauge or defect is coming on the part, it means our gate is undersized. We have to improve the gate size. Small amount of change in the gate can give a drastic difference. And the shape of the gate is also important. Better the volume. Okay, opening may be small. Some, like we have discussed on a high volume submarine gate. Okay, that gives a better result. Okay. And cooling study. Cooling study, we already discussed on the SGT. At what temperature minimum cooling time is required, because cooling time we increase, it goes to the price of the product, part, and cycle time increase, because cooling time is a major chunk of the cycle time. So you cannot simply increase cooling time. That's why you tell optimum runner size. We are putting so bigger runner, then to cool the part might have cooled, but to cool the runner we have to keep it more cooling time. So cooling. So what is the best cooling? How to derive it? If our mold is properly designed, cooling lines are best, near to the part, all the thumb rules are mold is best. Then how to derive the correct cooling time? So we have spoken about heat distortion temperature of raw metal. So the temperature at which the metal get distorted. So the principle is that we had to eject the part outside the mold below the SDT. It should not be too below, means we are wasting the cooling time. So it is 10 to 15 degree below safely. So polycarbonate has a heat distortion of 120 degrees. So we can eject it like 105 degree, 100 degree. Okay. Nylon, glass fill and all has 160 degree. So we no need have to keep the part in the mold to keep it to 100 degree, make it to 100 degree or 50 degree. We may not able to test the part, still it is okay, because that metal can take a heat distortion temperature up to 160 degree. So based on that, we have to keep the cooling time. Now, how can you tell how this can be, how we know whether this has reached the heat distortion temperature? Devin, can you give your idea?
Check the physical part.
Yes, absolutely right. Yes. When the part comes out, that's the easiest method. Check it with a quick temperature measuring equipment. So we'll know. If suppose polycarbonate part I'm running, when I checked, it is coming 40 degree, 50 degree, because I am giving over cooling time. If it is coming 90, 100 degree, it means right. If it is coming above that 130 degree, it means it is over. I am not giving a proper cooling. I'm quickly ejecting that. Then there is a chance of catching or in the run, or ejector pin get pierce, all these things in the run. So make cooling time study.
So it's a trial and error method. Cooling study it is. So we have to set it and we have to remove and we have to verify the part, then set it once again. Like that it is?
Yes, it is a DOE kind of thing.
Okay.
And if you can do a mold flow analysis and your mold flow cooling line and this is matching properly, and the cooling lines, whatever you are connected, you are not looped, you are properly connected based on that, then you will get an idea what should be the cooling time. And it is based on thickness and raw metal. Cooling time is based on the raw metal thickness. You can there is some thumb rule calculation we can be done. I can share you that. Based on that also you can approximately under, but finally it is a experiment. Exactly proper. Okay. And conduction of the steel, whatever is based on that also it will change. You are using a stainless steel, different. Your SDS different. You using beryllium copper, totally different. So that also matters, no? Conduction, convection, radiation of from the mold. If the mold plate size is bigger, cooling time will automatically reduce because it pulls away the heat very quickly. The cooling lines are better. So finally, outcome in the what is the mold, how we are made, based on that cooling time varies, not only the raw metal. So it is a study. Okay. So these are the 6 steps. Okay. And in this time, we should not measure the dimension of the part. Generally, we see people hurry in measuring dimension because looking anything. Gate itself is not okay. If it's not okay, they started measuring and telling, okay. For a semi-crystalline metal and form and all, if you do this will be like fully devastating result. Because after again you change the gate dimension, total dimension of the part will change because highly crystalline material. We should not do that. Initially, we set the process correct. Then we see first trial T0, we have to see all the features are intact. Okay, some features are missing or not. All the some problems is air vent problem, is a burning mark, is a provide air vent, putting all these things. Make the mold process right process to run. Then do some DOEs, cooling time, cycle time, everything, pressure and all. Second stage, that is the second stage. In that, run the process continually 4 hours, 5 hours, then take the sample and measure the dimension. That is a real process. Before doing all these things, gate adjustment, after that changes, dimension will change. Amorphous, okay, and it's not a critical part, okay, I agree. Critical part, this cannot be done. So after fixing this thing, we have to go to next step, where in which this process is stable, then we'll run some parameters and run the DOEs. Okay, all our mold is capable of giving the result. It is not dependent totally on the machine setting, okay, or a person who is setting the. It is totally dependent on the product design and the mold. Then we have to run the process continuously few hours, then take the part and measure it, then do a correction. That mold will be very, very robust. Okay, this is the process. So this is a question for you. Which is the right switchover point? Okay, below 95%, okay, equal to under 98% by weight, or greater than 100%. Divin?
So, switchover 95?
95 below, or 95 to 98? Below 95.
95 to 8, yeah.
Below 95 to 98.
Yeah.
No, you are wrong. You are not.
Okay.
It's 95 to 98%, not below.
Okay.
95 to 9, below 95 means a short fill. I told you part has to be filled by 100% by shape. Weight only we are keeping less. If you give switchover beyond 100, what is the problem?
Flash.
Why flash comes?
Overpacking. Mold will.
We are not given packing, no. We are not given holding at time of switchover.
Okay.
I will tell you. In an injection molding machine, mold closes. Okay. Full tonnage will not be applied at that time, because inside the cavity nothing is there. There is no pressure built up. Okay. When the raw material starts filling, when the raw material fills the cavity, then pressure is built up and mold tends to open. If you are filling the part more than 100%, so locking tonnage happens when the switchover happens. At the switchover pressure point, the machine applies 100% locking tonnage.
Okay.
If you are continuously applying locking tonnage, then you will incur in a higher power cost. Okay. You cannot afford that. So we require locking when the switchover is happening place. Okay, right time. So if we are switchovering beyond 100%, what happens after the flash come beyond 100%, part and flash will come. Then we are locking it. Then we cannot remove the flash. Okay.
Okay.
That's why. Okay. Now there is a question. Part is short. Okay, short fill. There is short in the part. But flash is also there in the part.
Okay.
What it indicates? Short and flash both. It doesn't come, no. Short.
Air vent. Air vent is not there in the particular location.
No. Major reason you have to tell.
Major reason. Pressure? No, not that. Gate sealing, huh?
If gate sealing is there, how flash will come? It is in the part, not in the runner area, I'm telling. Okay, you are right. If gate sealing has happened, flash will come in the runner area. Not in the part.
Not component, yeah.
This indicates that our tonnage is not adequate. Okay, because mold is not getting closed fully. Adequate tonnage is not there. What happens?
Yeah, because of that, how it is going to impact on short?
See, I told you there is a short because part is not filling.
Yeah.
Okay, part is not filling. Whatever reason, part is not filling.
Yeah.
Even because I told switchover time mold clamping happens. Okay, this is short is suppose this is a switchover position. 90% filled. That even pressure is not built up completely in the mold inside the cavity.
Mm.
But that pressure itself is opening the mold. Then flash is coming. Correct.
Mm.
That means tonnage is lesser than
Okay.
either you are given lesser or the machine is not capable.
Mm-hmm.
Change it to a higher tonnage machine. Okay.
Okay.
This is the temperature system. Okay. It is known as no. This is known as mold temperature controller. Okay. Normally, we feel that no. Why MTC? See, for higher grade, every metal has a mold temperature required on the surface temperature. As I told, PC 100, 120. So whatever raw material no, which has a mold temperature above 80 or 90 degree, we cannot use water because water will start boiling at 100 degree. It will become steam. So there is no meaning in using water. That's why whenever we are using a raw material which has a higher mold temperature requirement, we have to go for a mold temperature controller. The mold temperature control purpose is to know heat the oil or whatever and send it to the mold. Generally, oil are used because those oil will not boil in 120 or become a fume. So it will be, and there are some temperature controller which use high pressure water. So whenever we exert pressure on the water, its boiling temperature will go up. So those are known as high pressure water temperature controller. Very, very effective. But only thing is costly because the water has to be compressed and kept in a higher pressure so that its boiling temperature will go above. Okay. It's like that. And there are MTCs available in water up to 180 degree. But there since it is high pressure, no, all the connectors, your lines, everything has to be very, very safely designed and used. Okay. And the oil, there are oil control will go up 200 250 degree also. This is important. So based on the raw material, we have to use the